Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Claire. That's the cat sneezing. This is Testing Sobriety Mounjaro UK and week number, not sure. I'll put it on the screen. As you can tell, if you were here last week, you can tell that I am now a whole lot better than I was last week. So last week I was unwell. I had a cold, that was all it was, but it hit me for a few days. And now I am so much better. I did also have another problem last week, but we'll get into that in a little bit. So how has this week been? Well, this week has been tough because of the two things, not being well and not being well at the same time. So yeah, it's been a little bit, well, I haven't done much basically. I'm on a week off at the moment, and normally if I've got time off, I do like to try and do a bit more exercise, but where I've not been very well, I have only managed to do 2 swims, which I think is okay. I'm happy with that for how I felt and stuff. And I have been again today, but that will be in next week's video, if you know what I mean. Like this, what I do today doesn't count exercise wise. Everything up until last night counts for that week. So 2 swims, one of which I did actually go to the gym afterwards. I just did a few different arm exercises and a few different leg exercises. So no cardio, just weights, and that's for a reason. Let's get into the way I've been feeling. So I had the cold. The cold was pretty bad the day I recorded my last video on the Sunday, and I still felt really rough on the Monday. Tuesday I felt a bit better, and that's one of the days I actually went to the swimming pool and did a swim. I felt all right when I was doing it. I felt all right in the steam room because obviously steam helps with things like that. A bit later in the day I started to feel rough again. And then I saw Pete and I bought some food for us. I got us some pies. I had a steak pie and I got him a chicken pie. I can't remember, chicken and mushroom maybe. And then that's when it went wrong again. So I'm already feeling pretty rough. And I think it was like the second mouthful of pie that went into my mouth, I started to get pains in my stomach. It like instant. But I decided to ignore it. Because I thought it can't, like, if this food's going to give me a problem, it would not be that quick. Maybe it's just a random pain. So I ate the pie and instantly felt really unpleasant. Felt really bloated. I was getting really nasty, sharp stomach pains. Just felt completely off. It was horrible. And unfortunately, I felt like that for almost 3 days. So I was just getting over the cold, still suffering with that cold. And then I've also got this really awful stomach pains and just felt generally very unwell then. And the thing about that was I had no appetite because I already had the sore throat. So when you have a sore throat and a cold, you typically don't really feel like eating that much, or what you do eat might be more easy to eat, like soups and things like that. I just didn't have much appetite with the cold. And then with the stomach thing, obviously when you've got a bad stomach, you're afraid to eat anything because you don't know if it's going to make it worse. So essentially I just had no, and with the Mounjaro as well in my system. So I took the Mounjaro on the Friday before, and this was now Tuesday. So the Mounjaro is still Mounjaroing, as well as I've got 2 separate problems going on, and my appetite was literally nothing. I'd get really, really hungry, and then I'd let myself eat something, and that was, but yeah, not a lot. So last week I did a few cheeky midweek weighs because I knew I wasn't eating very much. My weight actually dropped down 4 pounds in that week. So my weight last week was a 9 stone 8 point something, and my weight got down to 9 stone 3.7 at one point in the week. So really did drop quite dramatically for someone who is pretty much at their target weight. And that really got me thinking, and it made me nervous because I feel like I'm really happy with where I am now. So my target weight was 9.5 stone, so 9.7 pounds, and I was only a little, a pound and a half or whatever it was away from target anyway last week. And then to suddenly lose 4 pounds in the space of a few days made me realise that at my age as well, I'm potentially approaching menopause, and I don't want to get frail, and I don't want to risk my weight being so low that if I do get a longer term illness, if I do have to battle something, I've got nothing to play with. So it just really hit home for me to lose 4 pounds in a week, in just a matter of days. Just worried me. And so I decided that I'm not gonna try and lose weight anymore, because essentially I hit target. It wasn't on an official weigh day, but I was below target this week. And so that's me done with the weight loss side of things now. I am at target essentially. I haven't told you my weight yet, my official weight today, but as far as I'm concerned, I have done it. I'm done. I don't want to lose any more weight because just in case, I don't want to get ill, even if it's just for a few weeks, and drop half a stone and be all frail and weak and stuff. So I would rather have a little bit more on me to play with. Not in any weird kind of way or sexual way. So yeah, essentially from a sort of negative story about me being ill, the positive side is, I hit my target. I actually went below target, and therefore I am now in maintenance. So I was waiting for some kind of fanfare, some big party, and nothing happened, because it's just me and you. You can give me some kind of fanfare type emoji in the comments. That would be nice. So yeah, I have hit target, and now we're onto the maintenance plan. So I will tell you my weight. So officially my weight. So I did manage to gain some weight back. So yesterday I had an appetite. It was kind of weird, my appetite yesterday. So yesterday was 8 days since my injection. So whilst my appetite was so low, I thought I'm not going to inject anymore, especially now I don't need to lose weight. I'm wanting to maintain. So I am spreading my injections out, and I didn't have that much appetite. And then yesterday I went to the gym. I did a swim and a little bit of a gym, and I felt really hungry afterwards. So I went in the morning, I hadn't had breakfast, and I decided to go for a cooked breakfast in a cafe. I haven't done that in a long time. I thought, while I've got this really good appetite and I need the protein, because my goal now is to try and build some muscle as well, I'm going to go and get a cooked breakfast. And I did, and I ate it and I enjoyed it, and it was great. And I felt really good. So the only thing with that is I still felt full, and I didn't feel over full. I didn't feel overstuffed, but I didn't actually want any dinner that night. And I did end up making myself have some leftover curry. It was a biryani. I just had a little bit of leftover biryani in the evening, and I kind of had to force myself to do it. So my appetite was still, once I'd eaten that full breakfast, my appetite was properly satiated and didn't really want to come back. So yeah, the Mounjaro really is Mounjaroing for me. I still haven't told you my weight, have I? So today, after eating a bit more food yesterday, my weight is 133.8 pounds. That's 9 stone 7.8 pounds. So my target was 9 stone 7. I'm 0.8 of a pound over that. But as I say, I'm at target. I don't know that that weight is true weight based on the fact that every time I weighed this week, I was quite a lot lower. So I think this is a collection of food sitting inside me at the moment, and my weight is probably going to drop again in the week. But I'm just really happy to be at target and to be going into maintenance. I didn't talk about this last week because I was feeling ill and I just needed to keep the video quite short. But previous week I went to have food intolerance testing because this keeps happening to me. It happened when I was on holiday. If you've been following along, you'll know it's happened to me quite a few times. It's always been with richer, heavier foods. So I haven't had these reactions to anything like just meat and vegetables. It's usually pizza's been one that's happened quite a lot with. Happened with the pie. I think it might have happened with a pie before as well. And there was something else it happened with. A Big Mac, a McDonald's burger. I have since eaten McDonald's burgers and been fine. I have since eaten pizzas and been fine. But every now and then this happens. So I went to this lady. She tests for food intolerance using some kind of electric current system. So the machine is called a Biotron. I did look it up after I left, and it's not medically backed up, it's not scientifically backed up, but the way that it all worked at this appointment, it seemed to make sense to me. So the way that, so you hold a metal bar in one hand and then she presses a prong on a point on your finger on the other hand and tells you about your various body parts, and the machine tells you how healthy they are. Everything was fine except she said my spleen and the liver weren't looking too healthy, and a part of my bowel called the duodenum. So there were the three things that she said looked like they weren't too happy. And then food intolerance wise, basically I'm fine with pretty much everything. So all the things that have been causing me problems, I don't appear to have an intolerance to. The only thing she could find was paprika, bell peppers and chocolate or cocoa. And those things I do eat a reasonable amount of, and they don't give me any obvious noticeable reactions. She said you might find if you cut them out that you'll realise that they were giving you some kind of slight reaction, like a mild headache or something like that. But essentially they don't really give me problems. So, and I don't eat any of them in any great quantity, so I'm not too worried about trying to cut them out, especially not chocolate. I had a cream egg today actually. Yeah, so that was an interesting appointment. And it was really clever because what she was able to do is she's got like the machine's got a little hole in it, and she was able to put vitamin pills, different types of supplements in the machine to see if you got a better result with those vitamin pills. So she did say that I was short in magnesium and B vitamins. So she told me to go and get a B complex and make sure it's a high amount, 50 milligrams of B, all the different Bs. And when she went back and looked at the parts of me that weren't too happy, when she put the vitamin pill in the hole, the reading came out a lot better. It was just really interesting actually. It was a fascinating thing to sit down and be part of. I enjoyed it regardless. I know that there'll be people that poo-poo it, and I don't know for a fact that it's all, scientifically whether it really makes sense, but it looked like it was making sense to me. I'm now taking B vitamins. I was taking magnesium anyway, and she told me how much to take and all the rest of it. So that was really good. But yeah, my question to those of you that are taking Mounjaro is, are you having any of these reactions like I am? So it doesn't seem to be a specific food, but just the denser meals, the higher calorie, higher carb type meals that seem to have done it to me. Yet I can have them at other times. So the lady that did my food testing said to avoid those kind of foods, but if I'm going to eat them, to make sure I don't eat them when I'm really hungry. Because one thing that she did ask me was, are you going hours without eating and then eating something like that? And I said, yeah, I think that's pretty much how it's been. And she said, well, basically all your organs are lying dormant in your stomach and in that general area, in your abdomen. And then they do nothing for hours and hours. And then you hit them up with a really complex meal of carbs and fats and all the different components. All of a sudden, they've got this huge amount of different types of food to deal with. Now, I don't know if that's the case for me, but she did suggest that I avoid that situation, that I don't go too hungry before I eat a bigger, heavier meal. Now, I don't think I did that the other day. I had a few crisps before I ate, but maybe I did a little bit. Maybe I had gone quite a while without eating. I was quite hungry, and yeah, just a few crisps. Maybe that, I don't know. So yeah, let me know if that's a problem that you have had, because I don't know if it's Mounjaro. I don't know if it's me in some way, if it's my bowel disease. Who knows? But yeah, it was a pretty horrific stomach problem. It did last a good sort of nearly 3 days. And yeah, it really put me out of action. If I had been working, I would have had to have gone sick, because I was literally good for nothing. I just wanted to lay down. It was horrible. But moving along, on a more positive note, I did mention previously that my kidneys have been, the blood readings have been not great. I'm supposed to have an appointment in December at the hospital to look at my kidneys. Don't exactly know what that appointment is, but my last bloods have actually come back with the kidneys have improved. So the creatinine levels were pretty high, and now it's just come back into just about normal range, I think it is. So that's really good. And what that means for me is I'm going to start eating a bit more protein again, because I've been nervous about eating protein, because protein can be a little heavy on the kidneys apparently. So I'm not going to go really heavy on it, but because I do want to build some muscle, now that I'm in maintenance, now that I'm in maintenance, I feel like now's the time that it's going to be a bit easier to build some muscle, and that's what I really want to do. Sitting on a hard surface with this scrawny little ass is not comfortable. So I want to put some muscle. I want to sit on some muscle. There's more to it than that, of course. I want to build muscle for all the reasons that I think everyone already knows why it's important to have some muscle on your body. I want to gain muscle, and part of that, of course, is making sure I'm eating enough protein. So I'm going to increase my protein, not to a really high level, because I don't know if it's going to cause my kidneys a problem again. So I'll probably just increase it to maybe 70 to 80 grams of protein a day for now, and then wait until after December, when I've got another blood test as well, to see how my kidneys are looking then. So that's good. I'm going to increase my protein. Yay! Going to increase my strength training. That's why I did do some work in the gym yesterday. And I'm going to try and get back into doing a little bit of strength training at home as well. So I've just done some sit-ups, and I'm just going to do some squats, some sit-ups, a little bit at the gym, get back on my horse as well. I've kind of like had a bit of a break from my horse, which I love my horse. I don't know if it does anything, but I've been on that today. I went on that yesterday as well. It's supposed to work your abdominal muscles. So anything that's going to get me a bit of work on my muscles, I'm going to try and do more of that. I am also going to start tracking my calories again because I need the information. I need to know how many calories I need to maintain this weight. And I can't know that if I'm not tracking. So, and also the protein, I need to track my protein as well. So back to tracking from today. My calories, according to MyFitnessPal, I can have 1,710 calories a day to maintain. I don't believe it and I don't trust it because I've been eating way under 1,300 on average and losing very, very slowly. So I struggle to believe I can eat that much. So my plan, I will be tracking on MyFitnessPal and it's telling me I can have 1,700, but I'm going to go for between 13 and 1,600 a day to start with. And I will be averaging it out across the week. So I'll be trying to reach 1,300 at the beginning of the week. And then at the end of the week, I'll probably end up going over a little bit, hopefully averaging out to somewhere in between 13 and 1,600 a day. And we'll just sort of see how it goes, see if I lose, see if I gain, see if I stay the same. So I am on the 3 milligram shot. So I take my injection from my larger pen to keep it affordable for me. And I'm still taking 3 milligrams. That is really effective for me and it seems to last longer than a week for me. Hence, I'm here on day 9 and I still don't have a really strong appetite. I have been a bit hungrier today and I have eaten a bit more today. So I'm going to go for every 9 days on the 3 milligram shot and see how that goes for me. We'll see how that goes for a few weeks. Let me know how you would do it if you were in my position, and let me know how you are doing it if you are on a maintenance, or maybe how you're planning to do it if you're about to embark on maintenance. If you've been thinking about how you're going to do maintenance, will you be decreasing your dose, increasing the days, staying exactly the same? And of course it's all different for everyone because the drugs affect us all so differently. And I think for me, because it affects me so well, because it is so good at keeping my appetite low, that I'm only going to keep losing weight if I keep doing what I'm doing. And I don't want to be forcing food in when I don't feel like eating. That's unpleasant. I would rather have more of an appetite. So yeah, for me, I'm choosing to stick with 3 milligrams because I'm kind of nervous to drop back to the 2.5 because it was feeling like the 2.5, even though we're only talking half a milligram, but the 2.5, when I did go back to it after a holiday, it didn't feel that effective. So yeah, going to stick with 3 milligrams every 9 days and yeah, see how it goes. So I think that is it for this week. Let me know how you're getting on in your weight loss endeavours or whatever you're doing. Do let me know. I love to hear how you're doing. And thank you so much for watching. Thank you for supporting me. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.